Welcome. This is Miss Lady CC with Leaders in Purpose. Who are the leaders in purpose? It is you, and you. We are all leaders in purpose. Welcome to KPAO. Today we have Mr. Way of Life Wardlow. And I know you probably done heard him out there, honey. He is a flow, what you call yourself I wrote it down here. You a flow, go ahead, Tim. What you call yourself
I just floetic. I'm floetic. I'm a floet.
He's a flow it, honey.
Yeah.
He's a flow addict, and you're gonna hear his story. You're gonna hear his flows, and just be able to and so sit back and come on and enjoy the show. Now, before we get started, we always start off honoring our ancestors, those who died in the wars before us, those who went on before us. Because of them, we are standing tall. So, just a few moments of silence for our ancestors. Thank you. And then next, we're going to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Now, I don't care what religion you are, even if you're no religion, but whatever your moral compass is, whatever your rules of regulations, your operation of Mirandi, you get those out. And we're going to quickly check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Now, I myself, I love the 42 laws of Ma'at, and I'm going to show you briefly what it means. Now, you get find a rule or regulation about yourself. For instance, the 42 laws of Ma'at said, I will not do wrong. I will not steal. Let's go with I will not steal. Did you steal today? Is that one of your moral rules and regulations? If you did not steal today, honey, you give yourself the biggest hug in the whole wide world. Okay? But if you did steal, and remember, stealing is more than stealing, maybe stealing a robbery at a bank, or stealing somebody's car. You could also steal somebody's work and not give them credit. You could steal somebody's time by taking up somebody's time and not making it a quality, spending quality time with them, and just wasting somebody's time. So there's more than one way to steal, just like there's more than one way to kill. I know that's another one of the 42 laws of Ma'at. I shall not kill. Did we kill somebody's reputation? Did we kill uh, somebody's opinion? Or did we kill somebody's opinion? Did we kill somebody's reputation? Those are other ways that you can kill. So if you did not kill, you give yourself the biggest hug in the whole wide world. But if you did kill, what I want you to do is go back in your mind, and you look at how you did it wrong, and picture yourself doing it right, and see the positive effect on yourself, see the positive effect on others, whether it's killing or stealing or whatever, and then you give yourself a hug. And so the next time that comes up, next time that test come around, guess what? You're going to do it correctly. The next thing we do is we tap. Now, people wonder, what in the world is this tapping thing she be doing, honey? What is this tapping thing? Well, I'm going to go ahead on and let you see what tap is. Tapping therapy, or emotional freedom technique, is a non-invasive, self-administered technique combining acupressure with cognitive therapy to reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and trauma. It involves tapping on specific meridian points on the face and body while focusing on a distressing issue to calm the amygdala. So what we do is we're just going to go ahead on and tap real quick. Start with the top of your head, just tap. And after this, honey, you're going to feel so good, okay? The outside of the eye, underneath the nose, underneath the chin. Wow, we're going to tap our shoulders. We're going to tap up and down our sides. We're going to tap our wrists up and our wrists down. And then we're going to tap up and down our body. There we go. And then we're just going to shake it out. Don't that feel good? Don't that feel freeing? It feels so good to me, honey. And you can do this anytime. Check yourself before you wreck yourself anytime and tap yourself anytime, honey, and you're going to feel so much better. Again, thank you so much for being here today. I am Miss Lady Cece. Please press like and subscribe and leave a comment. We would appreciate it. Today we have a gentleman called Way of Life Wardlow. Yep, that's what I said. I said Way of Life Wardlow. I've never heard anybody with a name called Way of Life. And when I thought about it, like, whoa, that is so deep. All right, Mr. Wardlow, Way of Life.
Yes, sir.
How did you come up with that name, Way of Life?
I was in Tecumseh. This was maybe 2017, and the Rise program, which was then called Defy, they were coming, I guess, trying to create new programs for incarcerated members, and they were doing entrepreneur and training, right? And so it was a great program, but we had created a song, me and my friend Phantom. His name is David though, but I forgot his last name. But yeah, and so everyone's saying that I can rap at this time. I'm doing spoken word, right? And so we created this song called EIT for Defy, which ended up becoming Voices of Defy and Voices of Rise later on. And they was like, well, you need a rap name. You need a kind of name to go with it. And I was like, like, I always used to call myself like Young Russ, right? And it was like I would make my name into mantras before I was conscious of knowing that was really supposedly a spiritually powerful thing to do and a foretelling thing.
Oh, definitely.
About the power of names. And so I would call myself Young Russ, which was young in spirit, resilient under stressful situations, RUSS. But then if someone would call me Russell, then I correct it. I was like, it's Young Russ, not Russell. But if you call me Russell, make sure it's resilient under stressful situations, eternally living liberated, right?
Wow.
And so that was before Way of Life. And when Way of Life came, it was almost like you can't explain like a spiritual thing that happened like this. You can't explain where the motivation came because it sounds like a phrase. Mm-hmm. And I said it and I was like, man, that's you. That's right. But it took me years to actually fall into the eldership of what that name actually meant. The cosmology, the history, the culture, the spirituality, all that residue. It took me years to go into that. And so I really, truly became Way of Life maybe around 2021 to 2022, right?
Okay.
I wasn't released from prison until 2025, and that day that I was released, I was already scheduled to get my name changed in the court system February 21st, and so it was very symbolic that day. But it meant when I continued my study in all these cultures and these religions, every single culture and religion, they named their spiritual system, it was a way of life. Mm-hmm. They didn't, that word religion came later on, right? We ligre, right? Even like the root of what it is not necessarily how it's seen today, but it was a rebinding, right? Mm-hmm. To reconnect, exactly. Which is yoga, is to re-yoke yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And so getting back to the core, to the source of who you are. And so I continued doing my studies, and then like the transcription, the translation of that name in a Kemetic way, not just English, right? Because I was just like, what you think, what you do, what you feel, how you speak, that's your way of life, that's your expression. Right. And so it doesn't matter what you believe if what you're doing is something different, because that's not what you believe. Exactly. Right? That's your religion. I often say to people, their greatest fear is their biggest God, right? And so that God ends up being the God of the skies and the night, of everything that you experience. You can't separate your fear from a different experience, because it all kind of unfolds. So I found the name the Kemetic transcription, which is Wat M Ankh Ka Kepara. Wat, which means way or path. M, which is either capital M or EM, which is of. Ankh, which is life, right? And that's an expansion. I mean, that's a concise That's a concise understanding of what Ankh means.
So what's the comedic way to say way of life then? Is
Wa'im Ankh.
Wa'im Ankh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wa'im Ankh.
Wa'im
But
Ankh.
the
Okay.
full expansion is Wa'im Ankh Ka Kepara. So
Okay.
it's
Wa'im.
divine aspirant personifying the transformations of God or of Ra. And so as seekers, right, we're all personifying the transformations of our own nature, of our own God, right? Because God is in all things. And so when we get to experience ourselves in all things, we get to experience that transformation and that new becoming. That new becoming shows us ourselves differently and it reveals the world differently, right? And so that becoming, though, also is a reflection of your name, your destiny, what you're here to do, and how you express that doing, that becoming, right? And so my name, when I lose sight of who I am, it's always a ritual to bring myself back once I invoke it or evoke it once I say it, like way of life or Wa'im Ankh Kepa Ra. It's like, all right, divine aspirant personifying the transformations of Ra. Like, this is your journey. Be on your journey. Be courageous on your journey. Be have integrity and dignity on your journey, right? And don't remove from you what is yours. A lot of things we experience, we want to push away and say it's somebody else's fault. There's no power in that.
Exactly.
And so my name helps me bring back power to myself.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I also love when you said whatever, you said whatever, you said a lot. You talked about the religion, whatever religion you are, it should be an expression of who you are, not just what you talk or what you say.
Yes.
So what do you think about what's going on now with them people using religion to like we're going to talk about the Epstein files, people using religion to do these horrific things that they're doing in the Epstein files?
That's a good question. You put me on blast, but it's okay because I'm happy that you asked. We're always here for the times that we're here for. The Epstein files, I would just say, as a member of the black culture, the black history, the black expression of life, and I'm saying that even at the roots of what the black expression of life was, which was life, because out of darkness comes light. Therefore, to speak purely on my black experience, what's happening in the Epstein files, as was said by another Pan-Africanist that I agree with, is no different than what's happened on the slave plantation.
Oh, right. Say it, honey.
And so, therefore, when we have the illusions of changes given scriptures or given tenets or constitutions that say that now you need to do this and follow this, if that change hasn't taken place in your heart, those are words, and you have no real ability to apply that, let alone understand who you are under this new dictum. And so, that said, slavery never ended, so it just changed forms and changed names. And that same practice, which created many of the psychological institutions, the behavioral systems, as far as how to observe people in certain dynamics and then to characterize their personalities or their expressions within those dynamics or whatnot, that information came during the colonial period.
Exactly.
And so now our understanding of ourselves has been colonized. And now when we take that colonized understanding of ourselves and now we practice religion, and this religion is supposed to absolve our dirty deeds, it's supposed to give us light, give us hope, give us an understanding, give us a way. But again, if we have not created a relationship with these instructions, they can't take root in our heart and therefore reform our reality. And so when people are practicing religion, it's no different than infants practicing the teachings of their parents, first being told to them. There's going to be a lot of heads being bumped, a lot of owies, a lot of cryings and pleas and protests, right? And then they're going to learn. But if they don't have the desire to listen to that voice to correct where maybe parts of their understandings in their past no longer reflect who they are and where they are now, that is a personal investment. When you don't take that personal investment because everything in this world is external and therefore it is incentivized, right? It is an extrinsic value. You do for me, I'll do for you. When you're preoccupied with that and then the base of your operation is competition, i.e. capitalism, you do not have enough time to build with inside of yourself, because outside of you is war.
Right.
And so you experience war with yourself. You experience war with your social or your personal or intimate relationships. You experience war with your family. You experience war with your communities. And you experience war in the world to the point where you think war is normal in the way that you're seeing it. And so what we see are people who have had a false understanding of who they are and what religion is, having the keys now to profess religious salvation or sanctity or truth or rightness, right? And it's not true. It's like someone put on a costume of you and said that they are you, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I like the way you said they didn't have a relationship with those words. And people use that to say relationship with God, with the universe, relationship with Jesus. But it's, from what you're saying, it's a relationship inside of yourself. And so once it comes inside of yourself, then it's going to go out.
Yes.
Thou shalt not, like we were talking about the 482 laws of Ma'at. I will not do wrong. I will not steal. And until I get a relationship with that, where it becomes part of me, I'm not going to practice it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because everything, like, if we want to use science terms or symbols or whatnot, the thing about religion is understanding how the expressions of life in all forms tell you or send you a message, and you have to be able to read that message based off of the laws of nature, right? And so we just use like physics, language, or yin yang, right? What we're talking about when we say yin yang is no different than up, down, in, out, white, black, woman, man, etc. These are principles. But now in nature, how they express themselves is centripetal forces and centrifugal forces. Centrifugal forces is expansive. It comes out from the core, right, and trends back to its genesis,
Right.
which is fire. Fire burns something and takes it back to where it came from.
Right.
And so now rebirth can happen, right? And then there's centripetal forces, which are things that go in first and then find themselves out, right? And so when we're meditating, that's a centripetal activity that we bring inside it, and centrifugally we express it outwards, right? And so it's in and out and out and in.
Right.
And so if there hasn't been any changes inside, then outside will reflect the same stagnation, the same inertia, the same perpetuation to solutions that should be simple if you correct the problems within yourself.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. You have to correct those problems within yourself. Now, talking about correcting the problems within yourself, I know I've been through a lot of things, and I've had to learn. I'm learning to correct the problems within myself, but some of your problems had led you to go to prison. To me, when I was listening to your Mr. Way of Life, he has his he is on YouTube, and you did a podcast with a gentleman. I want to bring that up here.
With Peyton Hogan.
Peyton Hogan.
On the Clean Your Room podcast.
Peyton. We're going to go ahead and give him a shout out, Brother Peyton Hogan.
Ashe. Great brother.
Okay.
Great black therapist.
Okay, he's a therapist too,
yes.
Peyton Hogan, Clean Your Room podcast.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and find this and show this to you. Brother Way of Life did a podcast with him, and when he opened it, it was like he said about his breath. He counted his breath, and I'm like, here it is, y'all. Check him out.
Those traumas that I just got out of prison, spent 12 years, 15 days in prison.
Okay, I'm trying to. I spent 12 years in prison. And here's what changed in me. And like you said, that's Brother Peyton Hogan. Check him out. Now, when you opened that up, you said you spent how many breaths in prison?
I said it was 12 years and 15 days in prison, which I said. And it's been a long time since I've done the math, but it was 113,940,260 breaths. Now.
Whoa! Woo! Oh my God, that totally blows my mind. I don't even count my breath, and I meditate. And the only time I count my breath is what I'm doing when you do 3 breaths up, 3 breaths out, 2 breaths out.
For sure.
How did you count your breath like that, man? How'd you figure that out?
Yeah. Well, to make it easy, I won't go into like all the beta, theta, et cetera, frequencies or whatnot, because I don't know. Without quick reflection or whatever, if I may say one word out of act, but there's an average amount of breaths, right? The human breathes a minute, which is 18. Therefore, naturally, the natural breath that the average person is going about is 18 breaths a minute. That's a breath that gives you regular cognition, right? You're still kind of in your fight or flight, right? Because you're not regulating more often, you're not conscious of it more often, you're probably holding your breath, right? And so that's a good measurement. Now, especially given the fact that all of America is traumatized.
Yes.
And if the average breath is 18 breaths a minute and everybody's traumatized, and that means also in prison, this breath is just the same, if not less. But the less breath is from the freeze, right? The fight, flight, or freeze. And that's when you're holding your breath in and got all that tension and you're about to just blow up, right? Because you're being imposed on so many times. A lot of people out here are also being imposed on with many different ideas and rituals to the point where it's mass rebellion. Breath becomes the salvation. Breath becomes the peace. Breath becomes the conscious observer. Breath becomes the person who walks on water. Breath becomes the person who's able to be the eye in the storm.
Yes.
And so when it was 18 times a minute, as above, so below, I was like, the great year is 25,920 years. Our sun goes through every single constellation. That's the great year, or that could be called a God year, right?
Okay.
And so when it goes through every single constellation, right, every single zodiac, a month then in that time is 1,080, 1,080, right? Is 1,080 years is 1 month, right?
Okay.
Now 12 months is 25,920. If you do 18 times 60, right? 18 breaths times 60 seconds, which is 1 minute, that's 1,080 breaths. Or my fault, 1,080 seconds or whatnot, right? Okay. And then if you do that now times 24, right? That's 25,920, right? And so now 24 times 12, which would be for the month, right? Takes that. And so now you're doing all that blah, blah, blah math and you get to that number. And so the reason why I first found that is that I was realizing as above, so below, that our breathing cycle actually matches the zodiacal cycle of the sun going through the zodiacs. And so when we say as above, so below, or to bring heaven upon earth, we are heaven upon earth. And Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom.
Right.
Right? And the kingdom of heaven is where?
Inside of us.
Inside of you. And so when we have all these teachings that are taking Jesus's teachings, Isa's, Yahshua's teachings, and everyone else's, and externalizing them, when they're saying, no, I come through the Father, but through the Father you seek ye first the kingdom, the Father is inside of you.
Exactly.
Whether that father or mother principle, whatever aspect of the divinity that people want to speak forth, they have to have an understanding of how it expresses itself. But either way, Jesus said, go in.
It'll go in.
Exactly. Right? As I'm about to die to this world, this body's about to die, right? The temple, you know what I mean, gonna fall or whatnot, right? And when you see all this war, all this famine, all this deportation, all this bombing or whatnot, right, going on in the world, do what? Seek ye first the kingdom. Go inside. Now, that is not a popular thing, because when someone says, look at what's going on out here in the world, someone told me and said, like, man, we're at war. And I said, no, I'm not. Right? Like, I go through war every day, and that no one sees it because I go through it peacefully. That war is me figuring out who I am. And so the wars outside of me that weren't given my concession, they didn't ask me my opinion, it ain't my war. It's the collective consciousness. It's a projection of everybody else's internal environment, right? My internal environment, I strive not to experience that. And so therefore I'm creating peace in my world, right? I'm going through heaven in my world, right? And I'm going through my hell, right? I will stay in hell if I keep being so stuck on what everybody else is doing. But now when I go through heaven and I get that message, when I seek ye first the kingdom, when I go inside and I get a message, my instructions is based off of that message. I don't need to have this ego attack where I think I need to heal the world right now. Right? That's a trap. that thought gets caught into the masses, and now everyone feels helpless. And now we have a million and a billion nonprofit industries and a million philanthropists and stuff like that, right? We start to pimp out helping. We start to pimp out human service. We start to pimp out our morality, right? And so mine isn't pimped. I just don't identify, right? I'm a black man in this country, right? Everyone else is talking about war for lands, this, that, and the third. Well, we're on stolen land. Everyone else is talking about war for self-determination. I'm trying to get us to stop calling ourselves niggas and understanding what the root of our real name and who we actually came from, understanding what that is and the heritage in that. So you can get that pride, but also that new zesto for life, because it was from our ancestors that we showed the world how to continue forth. We showed the world perpetuity. Exactly. We showed the world love. We showed the world democracy. We showed the world knowledge, science, technology, healing, right? We showed the world expression, ecstatic trance, invocation and evocation. We showed. And then we became demonized, and then we believed in the demon lies about us being demonized, and therefore we ended up acting like the demons.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I hear what you're saying as far as we pip out helping, but you got to remember too, especially when you're talking about the Jesus quote unquote, what I say is like the Christ consciousness. I agree we do need, and I'm glad you pointed that out. We do need to seek the kingdom of God inside of ourselves. And once we seek that kingdom of God inside ourselves, the Christ who gave the example, as we all know, there's many Christs, many Jesuses, but that work was also attached to it.
You're also gods.
Yeah. So we do have to do something. Once we take care of ourselves, we do have to come out and help others. That's part of it. But like you said, it's come to the point where we are pimping out. There's so many nonprofits. Even Senator Kenny said, we got all these nonprofits, honey, and there's nothing going, and nothing's changing. What's going on?
Facts.
What's going on?
When you heal yourself, you know who to go to.
Exactly.
You don't just guess and just try to go to anybody.
Exactly. We only got 21 seconds, and before we go, we got Mr. Wardlow. We're going to have him on the next show, so thank you for being here. But we're going to go ahead on and honor our women. We have Queen Afua. This has the 42 laws of Ma'at, but if you know Queen Afua, honey, you know some goddess Queen Afua. We also have the goddess Bible, and we also have the first prophetess of Mami Wata. So go ahead on and read these books in honor of International Women's Month this month, as well as the Crystal Goddess 888, and then save the date. There's going to be a masquerade ball, the Year of the Fearless Woman, March 21st, 6 to 10 at the Omaha Marriott Hotel. So we're celebrating the divine feminine. Thank you for being here, and catch us on the next show.